Welcome back, decoders. Good afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are having a good day. And just here to cover the most pertinent event, of course, that happened yesterday. And yeah, let's give it a minute. Please hit those like buttons and please give me a thumbs up in the chat if the sound's good and you guys can see everything. And just making sure everything's working. And we'll give it a minute or two as usual for some people to join. But hello to Juan Francis, hello to David, and hello to Kampala, Kampala Harris, saying the election was stolen. Well, it's all rigged, so it wasn't really stolen, but I get what you mean. It's all by Kabbalah, satanic. Yeah, that's what it is. So, we got Lambda 115 in the chat. Guys, make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel. My video is hidden, so the video yesterday about this, you guys can watch it, but you guys can't find it on my channel. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Thank you guys for the thumbs up, by the way. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. They're hiding my videos. I had like 2,000 views in like 2 hours, and then immediately once they realized that my video was going to get more views, they immediately hid my video. So I don't know what's going on. They're just doing stuff with it. I don't know what it is, but anyways, make sure you guys go subscribe to Lambda. Let me go ahead and put his comment on the screen so you guys can see who I'm talking about. This was the guy who made the amazing find about the 1188s. If you guys didn't see that video, you guys don't know what I'm talking about, but hopefully that video will be back up so you guys can watch. Maybe I'll have to re-upload it or something. I don't know. I don't know what to do about it, but hopefully this live stream stays up. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for joining. Hello, Joseph Aquaviva 2222. Yeah, I don't know. They've done that to my videos the last few times already. It's so weird because the video is still up. It doesn't, you can't see it, So I don't know what it is. Anyway, that's just something I needed to get out of the way before I continue with this decode. But thank you guys all for joining. And I think we all pretty much do. I almost, first of all, I was completely shocked when Kamala Harris even became the candidate. Okay, I never expected Kamala Harris to even be running against Trump. I thought that she would take over when Biden passed and she would take over, right? Well, I don't think that can happen, but, well, obviously it's not going to happen. But what I think is, Trump had to be selected as the 47th president. And I always thought that, even 4 years ago, when I first started doing this stuff, this decoding. I mean, it wasn't even 4 years ago. It was only like 3 years ago. But I always thought that, Trump would win the election. I thought it was pretty clear, even before I even knew about gematria. It just seemed like Trump, I don't know, it just seemed like he was going to come back. So that was just kind of when Kamala got selected as the person who was running against him, I was surprised, right? But there's still a chance that Kamala takes over if Biden passes. And I'm going to give you guys a scenario in this video that I think could probably play out. And yeah, so I think it's possible still for Kamala, but less likely than before. But she actually was already presidential power on November 19th, 2021. So technically, she kind of became the 47th person. I don't know. There's a couple different options, but I don't want to get into all that right now. We got the Illusion in the chat. Much love, brother. The Illusion, he said he wrote a book about Trump becoming the 47th president. And yeah, guys, make sure you guys go check out his channel and his books. He always does amazing work, It's nice to see you in here, brother. It's been a while since we talked. But yeah, but thanks for tuning in as usual. And Gene Splice says the launching his campaign in Cleveland was the clue. Yes, indeed. Yep. We're going to talk about Grover Cleveland a bit. Rebecca Carrington says the video from yesterday is still there. I found it in my history, but it's unlisted. Well, yeah, it says it's unlisted, but I can't. I try to change it off, and it doesn't work. Like, I don't know what's going on. I put it on public, and then it just doesn't list. But then it comes back. But today it hasn't come back yet. So if you guys want to watch yesterday's video, hopefully it will come back up. But let's get into this because I got a lot of stuff I want to cover in a short amount of time. So let's get into this. All right, so yeah, the link, I don't have the link right now. I'll try to put the link to the video in the chat of this video when it's finished. That way you guys can get back to that video. Okay, so where do I start? Where do I even start with all this? I want to start with I kind of want to start with the Grover Cleveland stuff. Of course, Zach from Gematria Effect News, he's been covering this. So if you guys have been watching anyone else's videos, you guys have heard about the Grover Cleveland connection. Of course, Trump became the second ever split-term president after Grover Cleveland. Okay, and of course, just like the commenter in the comments just said, he had his first rally in Cleveland, Ohio, right? And so I think that, it was pretty clear. The only reason I doubted it is because they kind of threw Kamala in there really fast. And I was like, I wonder what they're doing here. But to be honest, even like I said, 2 or 3 years ago, I always thought Trump would win the election and come back. I thought that would be what would happen. And I think most of us thought that too, but yes, we still are probably in for an interesting couple months. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's just go through my slides and then we'll talk about it. So again, I made you guys a nice little thumbnail. This AI thumbnail. So yeah, I'm trying my hand with these AI thumbnails. I think it's kind of funny. So look at all these weird looking heads with Trump heads. Kind of reminds me of the real politicians, right? The shape shifting people. So anyways, we're going to talk about the 47, of course. This to me is the most important piece of this. Of course, president equals 47. So this is a very important presidential election, the 47th president. White House 47, government 47, authority, Republican, Democrat, foundation, all equal 47. Trump equals 47. And again, guys, this Francis Bacon cipher is very important because this goes back to the old English alphabet. And it's not a coincidence that Donald equals 47. Okay. In the Francis Bacon cipher, Donald 47. In the reverse cipher, Trump is 47. So not only does, his first name and his last name has the 47, he becomes the 47th president. And his person that he beats, she's listed as having 47% of the vote right now. Okay. Of course, she lost to the now guy who becomes the 47th president, and now she has 47% of the vote. And notice the amount of votes she got, 66.6. That was currently when I last looked. So I don't know if that's changed, but I thought it was interesting that she was at 66.6, and that's 47%. Trump is at 51%, And of course, the Illuminati was founded on 5/1. Trump, his family comes from Bavaria, where the Illuminati was founded. Trump has 51% of the vote. The Illuminati was founded on 5/1 by Adam Weishaupt, the Jesuit, whose name equals 51. Trump got 277 votes right now. That might change, but 277 is the 57th or the 59th prime number. We're heading up to Super Bowl 59. So, anyways, but the big one is, guys, Trump equals 47. He wins the 47th election. And Donald Trump equals 60. He wins the 60th election, right? So you guys know I've been talking about the 60s as well. But what I really want to talk about, and again, you guys know that this channel is really focused on wrestling. Yeah, world ruler actually equals, yeah, okay, let's bring that up because Tammy in the chat is saying Donald means world ruler. And that is true. Donald does mean world ruler. And he's saying to put that in the gematria calculator. So let's see. Let's see what he's saying. Yeah, world ruler equals, I think that's what you want me to type. So world ruler equals Trump's birthday. Of course, Donald means world ruler. But it also equals 56, like Society of Jesus in the same cipher. Wow. So world ruler and Society of Jesus both have that 56. But let's go back to the slides here real fast. I just want to get through these slides. And thank you guys please hit those like buttons. We got 54 likes. Again, I could really use the likes and the views because my video yesterday got shadowed and I really really don't know why. So anyways, let's talk about wrestling. You guys know that this channel, on my channel, I am a big wrestling decoder, okay? Now, Gematria Effect News has been talking about this. But honestly, I was talking about Kamala the wrestler before anyone really in the Gematria community. Okay? And the reason that is because I was the one focused on wrestling. Even from the beginning of my channel, I was decoding wrestling more than anyone. And I knew about Kamala the wrestler well before, most people were talking about this, including Gematria Effect News. But he has been talking about this more than I have, which is weird because he doesn't even decode wrestling. But anyways, he made a video today and he brought up the fact that Umaga, okay, so these two wrestlers right here, this is Umaga and this is Kamala. And they had a match back in 2006. Point of No Return channel did more wrestling than me. Yeah, I haven't watched that channel, but I'll check it out. Thanks for recommending that channel. If there's people doing wrestling decodes, I'd like to find them. But yeah, I mean, there's other people doing it. I'm not saying I was the first, but I'm just saying. And I know Illusion has done a lot of wrestling decodes as well, as he's saying in the chat. But yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about with this Kamala thing. I noticed this about 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. So anyways, Umaga fought Kamala, okay? And this was the year that Trump was 60 years old, guys. This match happened in 2006 during Trump's 60th year of his life. And now Trump wins the 60th election against Kamala. Can you believe it, guys? When Trump was 60, there was a match between Kamala and Umaga. Of course, Umaga is Trump, right? Because he's running on MAGA, which is MAGA, right? And Umaga beats Kamala when Trump was 60 years old, okay? And now Trump beats Kamala in the 60th election, okay? And notice the stars and the moon. This kind of reminds me of the Revelation 12 sign, right? The woman who has the stars and the moon under her feet, okay? So I think it's interesting that the stars are here and the moon under, you know. And of course, Kamala was trying to become the first woman president, and she was connected to Babylon. So I think this connects to the biblical scripture of the stars on her head and the moon under her feet. Okay. But Trump has taken out Kamala. And if you guys go watch this, this match, when Umaga beats Kamala, Kamala starts to convulse like he's having a seizure. Like literally. If you go back and you watch the match, Kamala is convulsing like he's having a seizure. Now, later on, this wrestler, James Harris, now that's something I need to mention, guys. This wrestler's stage name is Kamala, but his real name is James Harris. What are the chances of that? The guy's name is literally James Harris, and his stage name is Kamala. And then Umaga is Trump, and Trump beats Kamala Harris. Okay? Now, both of these wrestlers are now dead. Both of them passed away. Okay? This guy passed away of a heart problem. So maybe he was foreshadowing his own death in this match. And he was also foreshadowing that Kamala Harris would lose to Trump and the MAGA. Okay. But here's where it gets crazy. And this is what I added to Gematria Effect News. He was talking about this, and I added this in his comment section. Umaga was the beast, right? Yeah. And Trump equals beast. Beast equals 47, right? Beast equals notice how it says Umaga, the Samoan beast. And beast equals 47, like president, like Trump. And again, it's perfect, guys. So look at this. From this match to the 60 days left in the year this year, right before the election, was 6703 days. 6703 from this match to 11/1, which was the day leaving 60 days in the year, just before the 60th election. And remember, this match happened when Trump was 60 years old. And now Trump has won the 60th election against Kamala. And look at this. The amount of days between Trump's birth and Kamala's birth is the same number. Look. That's crazy, guys. Trump and Kamala were born 6703 days apart, and from the Umaga and Kamala match, when Trump was 60, to the 60 days left in the year this year, right before the 60th election, was the same amount of days between the two's birth, between these two people's birth. Do you see how perfect it was? It was also when this match occurred, it was also 6 months exactly, 6 months, 0 days before Gerald Ford died. Remember, Gerald Ford said that the first one president would come when the president dies, okay? And Gerald Ford died in 2006. This match also happened in 2006, exactly 6 months before Gerald Ford died. So it was all synced perfectly with Gerald Ford and Trump and Kamala, okay? But just crazy that their birthdays are 673 apart. And from this match to then is the same, okay? Now, this is the most intriguing part of this decode because I caught on to a very huge 119 riddle. And so Trump, when he becomes president, if he makes it, okay, Illusion, I might be able to have you on towards the end if you want. I don't know if you want to join. I don't want to make this stream too long, but I mean, I guess we could do it now. If the wrestling stuff is here, I guess we could have the Illusion come on now and add his wrestling stuff. I just want to make sure I get through the decode, but hold on a second. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and have the Illusion on for 10 minutes, and he'll do some wrestling stuff to add to this. I mean, there's more I could add to it too, but we'll let the Illusion. Okay, there's your link. I always like to have him on, so we'll wait for him. And yeah, yesterday's live is hidden. It's still unlisted, but I can't make it off. I can't put it out yet. So hopefully it'll come back. Somebody's saying in the chat, Umaga the Samoan Beast equals 88. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get this comment. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, so we'll wait for the illusion. And please hit those like buttons, guys. Let's get to 100 likes if we can. That's a good one. Mike says Umaga and Kamala equals 277, and that's the amount of electoral votes that Trump got. Umaga and Kamala together, I guess. All right, well, here's the illusion. I see him. Can you hear me, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me, mate?
Yep, I can hear you.
This is absolutely crazy stuff, what you're doing and presenting here. Talking about Kamala, you've got all those 60s, yeah?
Right.
And you said that Umaga match against Kamala was in 2006.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's the year that Kobe scored his highest scoring game, wasn't it?
Right, yeah. That's right.
81 points in his 666 game. It was also the year that Lionel Messi got his first ever World Cup goal, which was in Germany, and he made the score 6-0, like 60.
Mm.
And obviously, Messi, he recently won the World Cup in Argentina, recently won his 8th Ballon d'Or. And Trump's first day in office is going to be exactly 8 years after his first day in office as the 45th.
Right.
Now, going back to Kamala Harris, like as you said, the wrestler known as Kamala was James Arthur Harris, which is absolutely just ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what we have with Kamala is what were you saying about the feet? Something about the feet and the stars and the moon. What were you saying about that?
I
think it was
what I was saying was, because I've seen lots of symbolism for Kamala representing the woman in the book of Revelation, I remembered that the scripture, it says that the woman had the moon or the stars at her head and the moon under her feet. So what I was thinking is that the reason this wrestler is walking around with 2 stars on his upper part and this moon on his lower stomach is maybe that's symbolic of that scripture.
Yeah, and also I just wanted to add to that both Kamala, the wrestler, and Umaga, they were barefooted. They didn't wear shoes.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's what made them. Yeah,
which is super rare. It's very rare. And going back to Kobe, do you know that in his last ever game he scored 60 points?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and Kamala Harris's father is Donald J. Harris.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And he was born exactly 40 years before Kobe Bryant.
That's right. They have the same birthday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy because he was born in Jamaica, which is why I think Kofi Kingston became the champion not that long ago. And Trump was born in Jamaica Hospital, wasn't he?
Yep.
Which is just wild. But the main thing that I want to get to here, with what you're talking about with wrestling, is The Undertaker. So did you do any videos about The Undertaker recently, supporting Donald Trump?
I did cover that in one of my videos about he was on the Undertaker's episode of 6 feet under or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that Trump's the chief in commander for COVID, and we were told to be 6 foot apart, weren't we? Social distancing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The 6 foot under is because a coffin goes 6 foot underground. And the Undertaker, obviously one of the greatest to ever do it in the squared circle, as they call it. And Trump's delayed entrance at Michigan All right, he came down to the Undertaker's music, didn't he?
Yep, he's done that multiple times, I think.
Which is just crazy because obviously the Undertaker's real name's Mark Calloway, Mark like Mark of the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And his brother in WWE was Kane, who's the current mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. His name's Glenn Jacobs, and obviously Israel and Jacob from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And Cain called his brother Abel, didn't he, in the Bible? And they were the brothers of destruction, which is just absolutely outrageous. And The Undertaker, he had a feud with Kamala.
Right.
And he defeated him at Survivor Series and put him in a casket.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
I covered that towards the end of my video about the one of my recent videos. I can't remember how many days ago that was, but I found out during the live stream, and we covered it towards the end. But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, brother. Let me know what you
No,
have about
I appreciate it. See how the Brothers of Destruction's debut was 824, which is when Ukraine declared its independence, and Kobe Bryant Day.
Well, that's the day of Donald Trump's mugshot too.
Yeah, exactly. And 824, the Dodgers just won the 8th World Series in the year of 24.
Yeah.
And the opening run of the World Series was scored by Kike Hernandez, whose birthday is 824.
Yeah.
I've written a book about that with the World Series as well. But this next bit. So the Undertaker, do you remember who ended his streak?
It was Brock Lesnar, right?
And what's his nickname?
The Beast.
There you go. The Beast, or the Beast incarnate. Now, the Undertaker came into that WrestleMania 21-0. He was undefeated. And he lost.
He became 21-1.
The 47th prime.
Exactly, yep.
And
wow.
And Revelation 21:1 says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." Now, obviously, Trump resides in Mar-a-Lago, which connects to the sea.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share that. And you also had Bray Wyatt, didn't you? He died at age 36 on Vince McMahon's birthday. He died on 8/24. And he died in Florida, where Trump gave his speech, like, to the audience that he'd won the election. And Vince McMahon's birthday, 8/24. Vince McMahon was born exactly 42 weeks before Donald Trump, and the Beast of Revelation reigns for 42 months, which is 3 years and 6 months. And Bray Wyatt died at age 36 on Vince McMahon's birthday.
Yeah, and then of course it was Umaga. Again, we're talking about Umaga fighting Kamala here in this match, but it was Umaga who fought for Vince McMahon against Trump.
Yes.
Because let me just see if I can pull that up real fast. It was like called the Battle of the Hair or something like that.
Yeah. It was, and Trump won, and Vince had to shave his hair.
Yep.
And I think the hair ritual was like mockery of Samson. You know Samson in the Bible?
Right, yeah.
Where the power was in his hair, and they cut his hair off, and he lost all of his power, because the power actually belonged to God, not to him. And he became egotistical. And notice Stone Cold Steve Austin was involved in this feud, and he's called the Texas Rattlesnake. And Trump read out his snake poem multiple times, doesn't he? Basically revealing that he's a snake. And the serpent tempted Adam and Eve. And I know you were talking about Adam Weishaupt. And like the NBA commissioner, his name's Adam Silver. And God created the first man, Adam, and Judas sold Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. That's why there's 30 teams in the NBA, and Steph Curry wears number 30. So, yeah, Bobby Lashley, who's in that photo, do you know what his nickname is, or what it was?
Yeah, he was always going by the Almighty. Yep.
Yeah, which is a name for God.
Yeah, and he was fighting on the side of Trump. You know.
Yeah. Who's got a godlike complex, which I've written about in my book. not trying to plug it heavily. It's the best book I've ever written in my life. It don't come close. So I wrote it 3 years ago, and now I've just edited it with everything that's happened. At 3, maybe I started writing it. Yeah, I started writing it 3 years ago. I started saying Trump would win it, basically in 2020. So it's just crazy how this is all working out, because everything connects to him. Like Euro 2024 began on his birthday, and it finished 5-1, and it was Germany against Scotland, and his father's German and his mother's Scottish, and all the 51s that obviously connect to the Illuminati. And his grandma was born in Bavaria, where the Illuminati were founded, Elizabeth Christ Trump. So everything, I think why I've been able to code at the level I've done for 4 years is because everything's revolved around Trump. I just stuck with it, and it's obviously proven to be the case. I think he's going to be the last ever president as well, personally.
Yeah, I talked about that in my last video. Like,
you did?
I mean, man, when that video comes back up, you should check that out, because Lambda, the other decoder in the community who does amazing stuff, he discovered, man, that it's absolutely insane. He discovered that if you go 301 words into the book of Revelation, you land on the first appearance of the word trumpet, which of course is like Trump, right?
Yeah, and there's 7 trumpets, yeah.
Right, and that's 301 words into the book of Revelation.
Okay.
Well, that 301 words is actually also 1188 letters. That's what makes up those 301 words.
Wow.
Well, that's the gematria of President Trump, 1188. And that's the gematria of the last trumpet, which equals 1188 in the same cipher. Well, and remember, that's 1188 letters into the book of Revelation. You land on the word trumpet. And then immediately after that, it says, I hear a voice saying, I am the first and the last, the Alpha, the Omega. Well, if you go to the very last word of the book of Revelation and you measure backwards 301 words, again, just like you did forwards, the same amount of letters that makes up the 301 words forward is the same amount of letters that makes up backwards.
Oh my goodness.
There's 1188 letters in the last 300 words of Revelation, and 1188 letters in the first 301 words of Revelation.
And 11 plus 88 is 99, and 9 times 11 is 99. And the recent eclipse was on the 99th day of the year, which connected to Trump.
Right. Yeah, and it was just crazy, because like you got to go watch that video from Lambda, and then like he didn't even add the fact in that video that President Trump equals 1188 and I talked about later in my video how if you go to Corinthians, 1552, where it talks about the it's what does it say? It's something about the last trump. Will be raised incorruptible. You know, that scripture.
Yeah.
Well, if you take that whole scripture and you add the text, if you do the text with plus the numbers 1552 plus the text, it equals the 1188th prime number, or composite number.
That's incredible. And go into the verse that you're referring to. It's 1 Corinthians 15:51 through 52. And this is why I believe Trump will be the last president. Many reasons, but it says, "Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed." That's talking about the rapture. And the recent eclipse went through Rapture, Indiana. It's absolutely crazy stuff. Michael Jackson was born in Indiana. He really connects to Trump as well. But I've got something else for you that you might not have about Kamala.
Okay,
I know how gifted you are. You may have it. And again, you know this, I know this. Whatever we say, just take as you wish. Like, it's not our information. It's not our knowledge. We just share it. So Kamala died, didn't he? He died on August the 9th, 2020.
Yep.
So he died the year that Trump was president, yeah?
Yep, that was his final year of presidency, yep.
Now, I told you that Trump's first day in office is going to be exactly 8 years after his first day in office is the 45th.
Yeah.
Well, Kamala died exactly 8 weeks after Trump's birthday.
Oh, yeah. So there's
Now,
your 88.
Yeah, and now 8 weeks is 56 days, and the election took place with 56 days left in the year. It's why the governor of California said that 56% of Californians would test positive for COVID in 56 days, which is what, 8 weeks?
Yep.
So that's another 8. And the 8 is massive because the 8 connects to the infinity symbol. But if you don't mind, do you mind me reading? Obviously, Kobe began his career wearing number 8, didn't he?
Yep.
But if you don't mind, do you mind me reading out some 8s that connect to the Bible, which I think what a lot of this is about?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, man.
There's so many 8s with Trump. I'm not going to read all them out, but I'm gonna read out the 8s that connect to the Bible. So when it comes to the number 8, when God flooded the earth, he saved 8 people, didn't he? During the days of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
He saved 8 people. Now, did you see the Chiefs game, which was the last NFL game before the election? Did you
I didn't see it. I didn't see it, but I did see that they won 8-0, or they became 8-0.
Yeah, and their star player in that game was Hopkins, who wears number 8.
Oh, right, and he just got traded there too.
Yeah, that's why, for that ritual. He got 2 touchdowns. The number 88 for the Bucs was really good. You had Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback staying on 19 road wins, the 8th prime. But the 8s, I told you Messi won his 8th Ballon d'Or recently, and he won the World Cup final 4-2 in a shootout, and 4 times 2 is 8. Dodgers getting their 8th World Series win. So let me just... Do you remember 2012 was the Olympics in London, and they foreshadowed coronavirus?
Yeah, that was crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so that was 8 years before 2020.
Uh-huh.
It's 2012. There's a movie, isn't there, called 2012, which is about the end of the world.
Yep, that was the Mayan long count year. They thought everything was going to end that year.
Yeah, and I think the devil sometimes does this stuff. So when more and more people say, I think the end is near, the end of days, the end times, people are like, oh yeah, like 2012. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like the year 2000. So they make light of it, but the fact is, the Bible says the world is going to be set on fire by Jesus, and they're going to create the new heaven and the new earth. We just don't know when. But you've got to bear in mind how crafty and cunning is. But Trump connects to the Chiefs because he's the commander-in-chief for Operation Warp Speed, isn't he? That's exactly. Why the Chiefs have been doing so well. That's why they're probably going to three-peat, and then we have World War III. So trying to find these 8s, it's just this book is so long. Give me a moment. But that number, the number 8, really heavily connects to new beginnings, which is why I think God saved 8 people when he gave mankind another opportunity.
Yeah, Joshua L. saying the Bucs are now 8-8 versus the Chiefs. I guess,
yeah, that's another one. Yeah, 8-8, including the playoffs. It's like all these things. Like, I knew the Chiefs would play the last game before the election. You won't believe it. Like, okay, do you know the 47s with why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 58?
I probably did know them, but I've probably forgotten them. My memory's so...
They won the Super Bowl obviously on the anniversary of Vatican City being founded, yeah?
Right, 211. Yeah.
We know 211 is the 47th prime.
And Vatican equals 47 also.
Nice, yeah. And it finished 25-22, which is 47 points.
Yep.
And the Chiefs won it exactly 47 weeks after the coach's birthday and exactly 47 months after COVID was declared a pandemic. You're telling me that's an accident? It's not. The Chiefs connect because you've got the commander-in-chief with Operation Warp Speed, and you've got a war chief, haven't you? Which obviously connects to war. And then what was The Rock's dad? Wasn't he called the Chief? Ricky Maivia, the Chief or something?
Peter Maivia, yeah.
Yeah, but Chief Maivia, they called him as well.
Yeah, they called him the High Chief.
Yeah, there you go, the High Chief. And do you know that the term The Rock, Jesus Christ is referred to The Rock 7 times in the Bible? And The Rock said he was at his lowest point when he had $7 in his pocket. He hit rock bottom. It's mocking Christ. All of it's mocking Christ. Trump.
By the way, did you know Roman Reigns' name? Roman Reigns' first real name is 47 also, like Trump?
I didn't know that, but I know he reigned for, was it 1,316 days? And that Revelation 13:16 is about the mark of the beast.
Right, yeah.
Like, so yeah, Roman reigns, you got Rome reigning and all of that. But wrestling, which you do a phenomenal job of doing, is one of the best ways in revealing how reality is coded.
Yeah.
Like, have you noticed that because we're living out Revelation, all the truth's being revealed? That's why Vince McMahon has been fully exposed now. There's no coming back. You know, in the past, he's done things and he always found a way back.
Right,
There's
yeah.
not now. It's done. You can tell it's done. Okay, brother, I found the 8s. I'll do 2 more minutes because I literally do not want to come in here and take away from your amazing work. So I'm just going to quickly break down these 8s and thank you again for letting me on.
No
Cheers
problem.
to everyone watching this. So, right, I'll do this. Donald Trump's first day in office as the 47th US president will be exactly 8 years after his first day in office as the 45th. Now, the number 8 represents a new beginning, meaning a new order or creation and man's true born-again event when he's resurrected from the dead into eternal life. So Jesus, after his resurrection, revealed himself alive 8 times just before his ascension into heaven. Remember, WWE had the tag team called The Ascension that dominated in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the New Testament was penned by only 8 men: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, James, Peter, Jude, and Paul. Notice that the book of Jude is the penultimate book of the Bible. That's why Jude Bellingham is doing so well for Real Madrid. It's the names. His brother's called Job, like how you have the book of Job and Satan tested Job, testing his faith.
That's crazy.
Now, Abraham, the father of the faithful, he had 8 sons, right? And males, according to the Old Testament, were to be circumcised on the 8th day. Because you see in Luke 2:21, remember Luke's a big part of the Bible. You had Luke Harper with, he died as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was in the Wyatt family. Luke 2:21. And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Jesus, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. So Jesus began the Sermon on the Mount, his introduction to the new covenant, with the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes are a list of 8 behaviors or attitudes that, if manifested in life, will receive a reward or blessing from God in resurrection. I told you God saved 8 people on the ark to have a new beginning from mankind after the flood. You know what comes to mind when we say mankind. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He got thrown off a cage by The Undertaker. How didn't he die? Let's be real. He should have died. And the whole thing with Mick Foley, because I think he was Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love, that showed me that characters on the world stage can play different roles. That's what he taught me. And I think some of them do. They play multiple roles. Think about Mankind and Mick Foley, how many roles he played as a wrestler. They call it gimmicks, but they're changing their roles. And I think there's a lot of celebrities who die and they come back as somebody else. Like Jimi Hendrix is probably Morgan Freeman. I'm not going to go deep into that, but I think Amy Winehouse is Lady Gaga. I'm telling you. But again, last thing. Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 days. It's called the Festival of Lights. Remember Bray Wyatt when he would come down and all the lights would go off?
Yeah.
And also the English word blessed is found 8 times in the King James Version of Proverbs, which that book is all about wisdom. All about wisdom. So, yeah, brother, I only called for the Undertaker, and you know me, I get carried away.
Yeah, no, your information is crazy, and the way you're able to get it out there too is great, man. I love having you on, and but and you know, like with just the H, you know, you know Jesus equals 888 in the Greek, right? You
I
know, I'm
didn't.
sure.
I don't really use gematria that much, but I still appreciate it. I didn't know that. I don't, you know, like with the new Gematrinator, I only have the 4 ciphers. I only ever use them, but I definitely do believe there's value in the other ones for sure.
Yeah, well, this is in the original. Like, if you go to the Strong's Concordance and you get the Jesus in the Greek original, that equates to 888. So that's a pretty big. And of course, if you take it into the English and you type in the Jewish Messiah, it equals 888 as well. Of course, Jesus. I mean, he's not
Wow.
really the Jew. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of 888s that I showed in my prior videos because I was talking about the Back to the Future and the eights and the
88 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a lot about the eights in the last couple videos, but yeah, it's and even if you notice, Jesus equals 888 in Greek, and Christ equals 1480.
Wow.
In the number 148 is also a bit connected to 888 because if you take 148 times the perfect number 6 of the number of a man, it equals 888. 148 times 6 is 888. So that's what the Sumerian cipher is in what we do in the Gematria Sumerian cipher. But that's why Donald J. Trump equals 888 and Time Traveler equals 888. And even the guy from the movie Back to the Future, Emmett Brown,
Yeah.
he also equals 888, just like Time Traveler. So that number is huge. And I think it really all goes back to Jesus and the 888.
Everything goes back to him, honestly. That
Yeah.
So the Chiefs game went to overtime, okay?
Yeah.
And it finished 24-24 in regulation. Now 24 is 8 plus 8 plus 8.
Yeah.
So it's 24-24, that's 48. And Donald Trump equals 48, and he was shot exactly 48 weeks before his birthday.
Huh.
So the summit with that 48, the upcoming World Cup in USA, Mexico, and Canada, for the first time ever, it's going to have 48 teams. The eclipse was on 4/8, wasn't it? April the 8th.
Yeah.
So that's the number we've got to factor in. And 4 times 8, that's 32, which gets you that 824, which we keep coming to. 8 plus 24 is 32. That's why the World Cup had 32 teams, didn't it? And the Society of Jesus, his logo has 32 rays, and Tom Brady retired the 32nd day of the year. It connects to the 4 times 8 or the 8 times 4.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, there's so much with the 4s and the 8, like there's a huge relationship between them. I notice, you know, like whenever you're talking about the 4s and the 8s, they always seem to be very strong when they're together. Even, you know, like Trump and even Donald Trump equals 48, you know, in just basic reduction.
Yeah.
And of course, the eclipse was on 4/8. But yeah, like and then of course 8/4 is Obama's birthday, so then you have another 4/8, and then 6 times 14, which is Trump's birthday, is 84, which is another 8/4.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth's birthday is 4/21. 4 times 21 is 84.
Yep.
And she heavily connects to the Queen. Like Trump's mother was Scottish, and Elizabeth died in Scotland, didn't she? In Balmoral Castle.
Speaking of that, you know, we got the birthday of King Charles coming up, who was born in 48.
Yeah, the same year that Israel declared its independence.
Right, exactly. And did you know, I don't know if you've caught this, but did you know that from the death of the Queen and the same day that King Charles became a king, which was the day leaving 114 days in the year, and if you go 114 weeks after that day, it's his birthday, the king's birthday.
Oh my word. No, I didn't know that.
And we just had, I don't know if you heard about it, but we just had the sister, or should we say the brother of Prince, because it's definitely a man, or it might even be Prince. I mean,
I think it's Prince. I think Prince's sister is Prince.
Yeah, it looks like him.
It is.
Yeah.
But I can't say it is. That's very like cocky. I think it is. I don't know if it is.
I mean, I would be very Yeah, that's definitely something I looked when I saw the picture of that so-called sister. I was like, that looks
Did you see? So you know when Trump officially won, when they called it, they
yeah,
called him with 277 electoral votes. Yeah,
right.
look how Kamala has 224. You see
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yep.
And Russia invaded the Ukraine on 224. Kobe Bryant's memorial was on 224. World War One lasted a span of exactly 224 weeks. And then with the 224, see how you get a sneaky 48? Because 2 times 24 is 48.
Yep.
So that 224 seems to be a very, very big number. And I overheard you say Trump with the 277, 59th crime. Obviously, Super Bowl 59, good sign for the Chiefs, I think, with the red. That's going to be in New Orleans, isn't it? Trump keeps talking about these hurricanes and things like that. That was hit badly, New Orleans.
Yeah. The first thing I thought of when I saw that 224 for her was female president. First female president does equal 224.
I didn't know that.
But again, we've seen a lot of predicted program. See, what I think is actually I might as well get to that while I'm at it. Notice how I'll show you this. I think this is what this is all about. Notice how Trump,
Yeah.
President Donald Trump equals first woman president. Well, notice also that Trump is responsible for being the person who has stopped the first woman president twice.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I think that's what this is all about. Like that's what this is all about. You know, he's the guy who has now stopped the first woman president 2 different times. First Hillary Clinton and now Kamala Harris.
No, that's really impressive, mate.
So
Trump's middle name's John, isn't it? And John wrote the Book of Revelation.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is interesting as well. I've got another 888 for you if you don't mind.
No,
but I just said it because I saw President Donald Trump's 248. I always think about Kobe Bryant. So Kobe Bryant's daughter, you know Natalia Bryant? Her middle name's Diamante, like diamond. And
oh, really?
Yeah. It's just outrageous. You can think of the Illuminati. You can think about baseball, whatever it may be. But Kobe Bryant's daughter, Natalia, mate, she was born exactly 888 weeks before Kobe and Gianna died.
Wow.
I found that and I was like, how did I find you? Do you ever find that when you make these connections, you're like, who's leading me to this? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, I think that all the time, and I'm like, it's definitely not myself. It's
definitely something higher than us, isn't it? Because I'm like, why am I looking at this? And it's like, and then once you find one major find, it's like you're gonna go find more and more. It's like you just need that one little bit of information, and then it just goes on and on and on. And
speaking of which, we have an absolutely packed stream tonight. I just want to thank all of you. First of all, I want to thank you, Illusion, and then secondly, I want to thank Joseph Aquaviva's in the chat. He's a great decoder.
Amazing,
we got Lambda 115 in the chat, another great decoder. We got Zenith of the Alpha, another great decoder, and we got the creator of the calculator, my other buddy, Derek. He's also in the chat.
I've never properly spoken to Derek. I got a lot of respect for him. I think I've spoken to him maybe on one of your streams, but we've got to be really grateful to Derek, and I think he does an amazing work. I've got a few more things for Kamala. You know, Kamala, the wrestler, died because of COVID, which led to his cardiac arrest.
Yeah, I did. That's why it was interesting. If you watch the match between him and Umaga, he starts convulsing.
Oh yeah, exactly. So
like
mate, when you grew up, were you like a massive wrestling fan? I loved it. It was like a religion for me. Like I was obsessed since I was about 8, 9.
Yeah, I definitely was, because my stepdad, he was always watching it, so I was always around it, and so I just picked it up, you know, and then I would always. My mom actually didn't want me watching it because I had a very strict family. You know, my mom was a strict Christian. She wouldn't let me watch Pokemon or Harry Potter or none of this stuff. and wrestling was even off limits. So I remember I loved it so much. I would try to I would tell my mom I'm going to bed early, and I would, as soon as Raw came on, I would close my window and just like watch wrestling. And if my mom would walk in, that was about the worst thing I did as a kid. I snuck watching wrestling. I was a very non-troublemaker. I didn't
Yeah,
drink.
it sounds like it, if you had to sneak to watch wrestling. Like my parents didn't care about me watching it. Like when you think about it, man, like it was so like repulsive, wasn't it? What we were watching as young kids.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining. Going back again to Kamala, I think I'm going to have to add, because I've got Kamala in my book, but I'm just finding more stuff now. So, I told you he died because of COVID-19 the year of 2020 when it was declared a pandemic, when Trump was the president.
Right.
But before he got to the ring, he would wear an African mask. And he died of COVID, where you were told to wear a mask.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
And he would paint his face with war paint, which again is more indication that we're going to war. So again, just talking about this one wrestler, you can go on forever. He debuted in 1978, the year Kobe was born. His ring name was Sugar Bear Harris. And wasn't Bray Wyatt's original character Husky Harris?
Yeah, and yeah, his name was Husky Harris, and the person who was mentoring him in the beginning was Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes is obviously the champion right now.
The American Nightmare.
Yep. And that's why, I thought, wow, this like Cody Rhodes winning, and then this whole thing with just this whole thing with Cody Rhodes and his father, and yeah, it's just been such a trip this year with all this wrestling stuff, and I think a lot of people are realizing how relevant wrestling is.
Somebody told me about you. I haven't watched it yet, but somebody told me you did an incredible code about Liv Morgan.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite codes, man. Like
Yeah,
I just did that. I just did that video. I just did that video like 2 videos ago or 2 days ago.
She worked at Hooters, didn't she? And now she's the number one wrestler, and she's tiny. She's like 5 foot. It's like it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, so I'll give you a little bit of what I did with her. Just a little overview. Okay, so I was doing all this Back to the Future decoding, and I realized that she was connected to this because everything right now is connected to the Back to the Future movie. That they're doing a whole thing around it. That's why Trump was just on the cover of the New York Post with Back to the Future on it.
And Biff was supposed to be Trump, wasn't it?
Right. And so anyway, Liv Morgan, her last name is Daddio. Daddio. And in the movie Back to the Future, when Marty McFly travels to the past, he meets his dad, and he's hanging up clothes on a clothesline. Of course, we know clotheslines are in wrestling, right?
Yeah, it's a really popular finishing move for some wrestlers, yeah.
Right, and so in the movie, he's hanging up clothesline with his dad, but it's his younger dad. His dad doesn't know that that's his future son, right? That he's talking to him.
Yeah. Wow.
And he accidentally calls his dad, and in order to make up for that and hide it, he goes Daddio, literally saying the last name of Liv Morgan, Daddio.
What the heck?
And what I ended up realizing was, why is Liv Morgan in a storyline right now with Dominic Mysterio, who she's calling Daddy Dom?
Yeah, exactly. Daddy Dom, she calls him.
And she stole Daddy Dom from Mommy, Rhea Ripley, and Rhea is a mother goddess, and she calls herself Mommy, and she stole Daddy Dom from Mommy. So Daddio stole Daddy Dom from Mommy. You get it?
And yeah, and that's amazing. And Daddy Dom is DD, like D-Day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my word! Liv Morgan was born on 6/8.
Yeah, and
hey, I'm gonna add to your code if you want to. She was born on June the 8th, 6/8. So all the world wars began on 68 date numerology pure, right?
Yep.
Adolf Hitler died a span of exactly 68 months after World War II began. And Revelation 6:8, and I looked and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. She's born on 6:8, which is another 48. 6 times 8 is 48.
Well, and you know what's crazy to just go to more deep into that. So she stole Daddy Dom, like DD, like D-Day.
Yeah, from Mammy.
From Mommy, right? And so she, not only is her name Daddy-O, not only did she steal Daddy Dom, but the whole reason that Dominic Mysterio is in wrestling is because of his daddy issues. Think about it.
And his dad's Rey Mysterio, which means King of Mystery.
Yeah, his dad's name is he broke into the business because of his dad, and
Yes.
his whole storyline was because of there was an issue of who his dad was. Remember, Eddie Guerrero said he was his dad when he was a kid. And this is where it gets even crazier because they released a movie this year called Daddy-O, which is the same spelling. It's the same spelling as the last name of Liv Morgan, Daddy-O. Same spelling. And in the movie, Daddy-O, the producing company who produces the movie is Rhea.
Oh my goodness.
So they literally had wrestling coded with this movie. It has to be because like Rhea producing Daddy-O, and you have in WWE, you have Rhea versus Daddy-O. You know, it's just crazy, man.
That's just what?
Yeah.
Because there's no way this 5'3" girl should be the champion. And wasn't Liv Morgan in the Judgment Day, which is fast approaching? Once she in the stable was called Judgment Day?
Yeah, she's in that now. She took Rhea Ripley's spot.
Oh my goodness. But originally, wasn't she with that Ruby Riott? And I keep talking about the riots like Civil War in the US. She was with Ruby Riott in the Riot Squad or something.
Yeah. That's why she broke in. She broke in with the Riot Squad, which is exactly what I was talking about, how they've been talking about riots breaking out. And Liv Morgan used to be. Yeah, it goes really deep. And the Rey Mysterio thing too, by the way, in that video I did, that blew my mind too, because the gematria of Rey Mysterio is completely revelation, man. Like his whole gematria is revelation, revelation, revelation. First of all, if you take both of his names, he has a match to Revelation with the 121 and the 40 and the 149, huge revelation numbers. And if you take both of his names, you get 121s. Also, if you take his full name, in standard gematria, you get the last verse of Revelation, 22:21. His name equals 22:21, which is the last verse of Revelation. And if you take his last name only in Satanic, it equals 404, which is how many verses are in Revelation.
Correct.
And I don't know if you know this, but in just Jewish gematria, Pope Francis equals 404.
No, I didn't know that.
And if you take his Spanish version of his name, Papa Francisco, it also equals 404 in the same cipher. And of course, Papa is father. So there's a huge father riddle. And it's Sean over. I don't know if Sean's in the chat right now, but Sean's been all over the dad stuff. Like he's been all over it.
Don't you think it's partly mocking the father and son? That's what I did a video about with LeBron and Bronny. It's mocking the father and son biblically.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I think it is. Even with like Bush Senior and Bush Junior.
Mm-hmm.
That's another 84 because Senior was the 41st and Junior was the 43rd. That's 84.
Yeah, that's crazy. I just wanted to bring up Labdish comment. He says Trump won with 277 votes. 277 day of the year is October 4th, which is the day leaving 88 days in the year.
I think that Lambda guy is absolutely amazing. I don't think he's heard of me or knows about my work, but I think he's really, really good. I've watched some of his stuff. Sometimes I watch people's stuff. I don't leave comments, but I watch it. And I think he's one of the more underrated people doing this.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I agree 100%. 100%.
That's interesting, the 10-4. Wasn't Kobe's last ever game the 104th day of the year? 2016, the year Trump became the president, voted in?
Yep, I think so. Was that
and we just had the 104th NFL season, didn't we? The Chiefs one.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Amazing, mate. Super. Oh,
Well,
let me just, right before I go, type in Manchester City into a tab, and then I'll go. Just type in Manchester City.
just Google search it.
Yeah. Just type Man City or Manchester City, and you'll see it'll have the recent game against Sporting Lisbon. I just want to show you this. It should show their there. Okay. Click. You see how it says the only goal for Manchester City was scored by Phil Foden?
Oh yeah, right here. Yep.
And he scored it after 4 minutes, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Can you type in Phil Foden? This shows you how everything connects. Oh no, I mean into it. My bad, brother. Type it into a search engine, just Phil Foden, so it brings him up.
Oh, okay.
Because last year I coded him before the year began to be the player of the year, and he got it. Massive, like shock. Now, go down. Right, look at his jersey number. It's 47.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Right here it
his
says.
number for England's 11, which is 4 + 7. And he's got a number 47 tattoo on his neck, which they say is in honor of his grandfather, Ronnie. So what are the chances that Man City play the day of the election, voting in the 47th US president, and number 47 scores after 4 minutes?
Wow.
And a presidential term, 4 years.
Yeah, and it's the only goal for his team, right? So
yeah, and it was in their 4th game in this year's Champions League. Like I said, a presidential term's 4 years.
Wow.
Which is, there's, oh my word, brother, a presidential term's 48 months, another 48.
Yep, indeed.
4 times 12. Listen, brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody watching. I've got to do my own stream now before I go coach. But I'm so glad I got to watch this. I'm going to watch it back maybe and read the comments, because I've got to say this about your community. It's incredible for the minds, the comments they leave. Like, I'm very grateful to mine. I'm so grateful. But I always have the same 5 or 6 people. You seem to have 20, 30 amazing coders leaving comments and liking videos, and it's brilliant. I lack with that for whatever reason.
Yeah, I feel absolutely blessed for my, just so everyone in the chat knows, I love you all very much, and you guys always, they're always on topic. Usually they're always adding great stuff. Every one of my comments is just amazing. Like, I rarely ever get people that are just randomly typing stuff. It's usually always very amazing stuff. So yeah, I'm very grateful.
Well, I'll get off, brother, and I'll thank you again. And just so you know, I do watch your work. Maybe I'll start leaving more comments. Just like
I also check you out some nights when I'm. But the time zone thing is what gets me. Sometimes I'm not able to be in the chats. I like to more, but because I'm usually in bed when most people are streaming, so it's like So
yeah, no worries, brother. Well, keep going. I'm gonna go do my own stream now, and thanks to everybody who watched. Thanks to you, and God bless you all. Speak to you soon, mate.
All right, take care. God bless.
You too, mate. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Thanks so much to the Illusion. Amazing stuff as usual from him. And again, I'm very grateful for all of you, every single one of you. Very happy to have you. And let's go through this stuff quickly. I want to finish, my stuff I was talking about, and then we'll wrap it up because I'm a bit tired. So let's jump into this real fast. So the first thing I want to mention is that Donald Trump, he officially was announced the winner in the early hours of 11/6. Okay, this is like your upside down reversed 11/9. Okay, and he will be president during the 119th Congress. And the 119th Congress will start on January 3rd and go through January 3rd, 2027. Okay, but Donald equals 119. Okay, so I just want to put you guys onto this code I discovered with this election. And so again, I showed you Donald equals 119. And when Trump got his ear wound, it was on July 13th this year. And from the day he got his ear wound to November 9th coming up is 119 days. So 119 days from his ear wound to November 9th. Now notice that November 9th equals November 9th, literally like equals 1109, which is like the date November 9th. Okay. So again, what are the chances from Trump's ear wound 119 days to 119 is 119, and that November 9th equals 1109. Okay, so I'm just bringing this up because I think something could be interesting on this day. I don't know what it would be, but thank you guys for sharing the links to the channels in the chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Zenith. Thank you, Coffee Girl. Okay, so again, what is up with this November 9th? Well, November 9th was the day in 1960 when John F. Kennedy was announced the winner, okay? 11/9/1960. Now, Trump just won the 60th presidential election, okay? And remember, I told you, there's 119 days from Trump's ear wound to 119. This is the day anniversary of the day that JFK was elected. And November 9th equals 1109, okay? So JFK, this is the magazine cover from November 9th, 1960. Now remember, this has been 60 years. This has been 60 years since the JFK you know what event, okay? JFK was elected in 60. Trump just won the 60th election. Donald Trump equals 60, okay? Lots of 60s. Now look at this, guys. This is mind-blowing. If you go back to the day that JFK was officially declared victor, November 9th, 1960, and you measure forward 1109 days, it lands on the day that he got his wound. And November 9th equals 1109. So if you go from November 9th, 1109 days forward, you land on his head wound, and November 9th equals 1109. And 1109 is 3 years and 14 days, like November 9th is the 314th day of the year in a leap year, like pi. So I hope you guys see how pretty crazy this riddle is. With what are the chances that November 9th equals 1109, and you go from November 9th when JFK was selected 1109 days forward, it's his head wound, and that's also 314 days, which is the day of the year that November 9th is. And look, again, this is the date that he was selected, and Trump, he was selected on 11/6, and he will be the president during the 119th Congress, okay? So I'm just saying, watch out for November 9th, okay? I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to have a big event. I'm just saying watch out because we're probably going to get something connected to this. Now, that's not even it, because if you go from the JFK thing to the day coming up, November 9th coming up, it's 60 years, 11 months, 19 days. There's your 1119 again, and 60 years is the election this year, was the 60th election, and JFK was elected in 1960. Now, if you go from the day Trump was elected, 11/6, the upside down 119, 1109 days forward, you land on 11/19/2027. And 2027 is 22 divided by 7 is pi. So you land on 1119. And from the JFK thing to 11/9 this year is 60 years, 11 months, 19 days. And again, remember, I went forward 1109 days from the JFK victory to his wound, and you land on his wound, which it's just so perfect, guys. I hope you guys are getting this. If you go forward 1109 days from the Trump victory, it's 11/19, 2027. So I don't know. I know this is a few years away, guys, this date. But if Trump does make it through these next years, then this date looks very interesting. Now, look who's going to be the first leader of the 119th Congress, because she's still going to be in office. Kamala Harris is the president of the Senate, so she's going to be part of the 119th Congress, and he just beat her in the election. And when she became presidential power, it was on 11/19, 2021. Again, that's the date I just revealed to you. If you go from Trump's victory day to 11/19, 2027, it's 1109 days. Okay. So again, Kamala Harris will be part of this 119 code. So I'm just wondering what's gonna go on, guys. I mean, are they gonna have some shenanigans? We know this 119 code. Yeah. So, but this is mind blowing enough, guys. This right here is mind blowing enough. If you go from the JFK victory day, 1109 days forward, it's his death day, and November 9th is the day, and that equals 1109. Like, wow. Someone says Garo's bashing me. Yeah, I mean, Garo he just gets unhappy with me. I don't know why, but yeah, he can do him. Much love to him. What he can do him. But yeah, thanks Joseph for letting me know. Yeah, thank you, Labda, and thank you for your amazing work as usual. Like, you're doing so amazing stuff. Please hit those like buttons, guys. Let's get the likes up as much as possible. Sorry about that, Morgan. I'm sorry that he blocked you. Yeah, he's just probably in a bad mood today. That's how he is. I don't take what he says seriously most of the time. I just let him blow off the steam. Anyways, so that's my 119 code. Let's talk very quickly about the 248 code, and then we're going to hang this up. Okay, so the 248 code, because I didn't have time, I took a screenshot from Gematria Effect News on his Twitter. He's been sharing all this stuff. So you guys know there's a huge 248 riddle this whole year, because as Gematria Effect News says, President Donald Trump equals 248. The United States is 248 years old right now. The Illuminati is 248 years old right now. The election was called for Trump in 2016 while he was on 248 electoral votes. And that was the 216 area code, which is where Grover Cleveland is from. Or not, he's not from there, but Cleveland is the 216 area code. So look how they had Trump. They had Trump on 248 electoral votes during this election yesterday. And we all know why. We all know why that is. Okay. Again, President Donald Trump equals 248. The Illuminati is 248 years old. The United States, 248 years old. Trump, his mugshot was on 24/8 in Georgia. And Trump won the election 248 days after the anniversary of Grover Cleveland's second term starting. Okay, which was on March 4th. So again, he won the election 248 days after Grover Cleveland's second term. And again, Trump is the second term president after Grover Cleveland. And he wins 248 days after Grover Cleveland's second term. And when Trump got his ear wound, Kamala Harris was exactly 248 Mercury years old on that day. Okay. And just to go back to what I was showing you guys here, look how First woman president. Again, this is what I believe, guys. Notice how first woman president equals 248, like President Donald Trump. We're in the 248 year of the United States. So think about this. Trump is the only president to go against females. And so he is the only president to prevent the first woman president twice. So why do you think President Trump equals first woman president in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers? Because he's the only president to face the woman president and to beat them twice. Okay, so he's the one who's holding them back, right? Trump is the one holding the women back. They can't get past Trump. Okay. So you can read into that. You can read into that, however you want, but it just seems pretty symbolic that President Donald Trump equals first woman president in 3-4 ciphers, and Trump is the one who does not let woman presidents get into the office. Okay, twice now. So you could read that as the men are always stopping the women, You could read that as the symbolism, but like Trump might even be, I don't know. I don't know if Trump's a woman, but some people say he is. I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I think that's really all I want to cover here. And thanks again to the Illusion for coming on. Again, it's all about the 47s, guys. It's all about the 47, really. And of course, we're now going to have Make America Great Again, right? Make America Great Again. And I just want you guys to know, Make America Great Again equals 404. That is the amount of verses in the book of Revelation. Okay. So huge Revelation stuff going on, the trumpets. But think about this, connect to the Back to the Future. Back to the Future is all about going back to the future. The phrase Make America Great Again is literally the same symbolism. Okay. Make America Great Again, going back to the past, okay? Back to the future. So this is clearly tied to the Back to the Future theme that I've been showing you guys. But yeah, I think I'm gonna hang it up. Once again, thanks to all you guys in the chat. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit those like buttons. If you guys want to support the channel, my Buy Me a Coffee link is at the top of the chat. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the coming days. And I'll probably take tomorrow off. I'm a bit tired of everything, but we'll see you guys here in a few days with another decode. And much love. And we'll see you guys in the next decode. Take care.